Okay, in this video we are going to actually be using the report wizard again this time, and we are going to create a report from multiple tables rather than a single table. Okay, let's not waste time. I have already explained to you. Let's go and start a Visual Studio or a Business Intelligence Development Studio, whatever you have on your computer, okay, or whatever you would be using. Let's go and actually start with the file option. Go and select the file. I am using a Visual Studio 2008 Professional, and it has a business intelligence option into it because I have installed the Visual Studio after installing a Sql Server 2008 Enterprise Edition with the business intelligence. So let's go and start with a new project. Click File, click New, and as you can see the project is there. You can click the shift, press the shift, control and N, or you can click on that option, and as you will see that the project starts coming up, and we are actually going to create a report with the multiple tables. As you can see that there are multiple reports in every situation. Mostly there would be rarely be a table, there would be rarely be a report that you would be using with a single table. But if you want to look into the single table report, you can just go and see the part 1 of introduction to the reporting service. This is a part 2, and you can see that actually business intelligence has been actually highlighted here, and report server wizard, report server project wizard is here selected by default. I am going to leave it as it is because I am still going to use the report wizard in this case also, and I am going to type a project name here, report name here, report project name. So just I will go and type up report project name. I will say is RPT, title, author. The reason I am typing the title author is that because I am going to use the title author tables. I am going to click OK, and this will lead to a wizard coming up, and we will be using the wizard in this report to actually go into the multiple table report creation. Once the wizard starts, it is mostly a child's play to create a report with the wizard, because it actually allows you to do most of the work that you would be doing automatically, and you are presented with the end result with a very great report which is presentable. Of course, you have to do a little bit work to look it more presentable in the situation, but most of the hard work is done by the report wizard. Let's hope so that we create a good report with the report wizard using selecting the multiple tables, and the end result is definitely should be good. Here it is, it has come up. We are going to select the new. When we select the new option, the next option, not the new, the next option, it should go to the next screen, and we will be waiting for the next screen. And when the next snaps, we will look into the details of the next screen. Here it is. Now if you see, when you create a next screen, the shared data source actually would get disabled automatically in a matter of few seconds, because I don't have any shared data source, as you can see, and automatically you see that the new data source automatically has been put data source 1 by default, because there is no data source. So the shared data source automatically gets disabled. If there was a data source in this project, then definitely this would have not got disabled. We could have selected one from them, but in this case actually if you see, the situation has become clearer, and we are going to create. In this situation, I'm going to leave the data source. You can name the data source if you want, but in this case I'm going to leave it as it is. I do not want to modify and waste time on this thing right now, and I will just go to the next. And the thing is that here there is a two options known as edit. If you have a connect, if you know the connect string, you can just paste the connect string, or if you want, you can create one with the edit. Now what is credentials? Okay, first let's go and create a edit this thing. And what happens is, once I create an edit, it will give me an next screen that will allow me to select the data source. In my case, I will have to select the server name. I'm going to select the server name. It is, see, you can see there's two logins to the server: user window authentication and SQL Server authentication. I'm going to use the window authentication in this case, because the thing is that I am using a window authentication. But naturally, mostly when the administrator would be looking into your this thing account, they will give you SQL Server authentication account, where you have to type the name of the, so they would not allow a report creator or a report person to be having access to the database or whole of the systems, or having a user with the administration right getting connected for the report purpose only. So they will just create a user and grant you the specific right to that database on which you are going to create a report. As simple as that thing. Okay, let's move to the creation of the report, and here we are. And as you can see, I have selected a server name, and this is the SQL Server. Remember that thing 11 stands for the server that would be using that your computer name, and 11/2009 would be the SQL Server name. Okay, now I am going to just type the database name. In this case, you can select the database name if you want. No problem with that. I know that there is a database with PUBS 2000. PUBS 2000 is the same as PUBS database. I am going to test the connection. If it's success, there is a success, then we can move on to the next one. It says test connection succeeded, and I am going to move to the next connection. Click OK and click OK, and I am going to go to the next option. Once I go to the next option, then we are going to look into the more of the details here. And once we are going to look into the details, here is a query builder. Here is the option that you can use, paste the query here right directly into this box, or you can actually build a query yourself. You can also use the stored procedure. Remember that thing. Either way, you can get your work done. I am going to click onto the query builder, and we are just going to use the query builder to build a query to create a report, and it's going to take some time. So in between, we are going to create a report from the three tables that is known as from the author and titles. We are going to select the authors and titles, but remember that thing, the authors and the titles are the two tables which has a third table that connects them, that is known as title authors. We are going to select all the three tables, because the reason is that the titles and the authors have a many-to-many relationship. When the tables have many-to-many relationship, they have to have the in between, there has to be another table that has to actually break that many-to-many relationship in normalization process. So title author is that table that breaks that relationship and creating one-to-many. Now, for example, if you want to look into the details of what is many-to-many relationship, as you want to look, what happens is, one author can be the author of many titles, and one title can be written by many authors. So this is it. This is how the many-to-many relationship is there into the database of the title authors. And I am now, I have already explained to you, these are the 4 panes. I am not going to go into that detail again. I am just going to select the tables. Here is, I am going to click add to add the table, and I am just going to select that tables from the that is going to be author, title and title authors, and I am going to select the sum of the fields from these tables. Here it is, it has jumped up. and I am going to select the author table, and then I am going to the down to the title author. Use the control and click to select multiple tables. Click add, and we are going to be shown all the three tables with the relationship connecting each other. The title author is the intermediate table in between both of the title and the authors that will allow you to connect to the titles and authors. And then we can select the fields. This would create a SQL command with the inner join. Remember that thing, when the table these tables are related with the primary and the foreign key, and this would create an inner join. These have the matching IDs to the tables that connect to each other. And once the tables are displayed, we will close this add table window. Of course, you can use the views also, functions, and many other features that you will be using in the creating the report. In this case, I am just going to reuse the table. Maybe some other time we will catch up with the views and the functions, looking into that thing into more details. And as you can see, we are nearly actually showing up the tables. This is a little bit slow due to the process, because this is actually has some lesser memory in the display. Otherwise it should be quite fast. Okay, here we are. Now I can go to the close the screen, and as you can see, I already have the three tables displayed, and you can see that the title author is in between, because it is the author, it is the table that connects the title and the authors. As you can see it, there is a inner join getting connected. You can, the SQL command is already there with the showing up with the equi join, as known as the inner join. Now I am going to select from the authors, I am going to select the AU author name, author's first name, and let's go and select a little bit more field, maybe a phone number and a city, and that's done. I'm done with the authors, as you can see. And from the titles, I may select the title, and maybe I will look into the more detail what type it is. Okay, maybe I will select the type also. I will leave it at advanced. Now this is going to be a little bit complex, but don't worry, it is not a single table. If you don't understand the concept of creating a SQL command with multiple tables, it may make you little bit your head pain, but doesn't matter, you will get used to it. Okay, click OK, and we'll move to the next. And as we go to the next, there we are. The SQL command has already been shown to you. This is the SQL command, and we are going to go to next, and it is going to ask you to create a type of the report that would be tabular or matrix. Now what is the tabular report? Tabular report is a straight like a table format type of report, and a matrix is much more like a report that is like a pivot table. Here we are. I am going to use the tabular report only, and I am not going to use the matrix format. I will just show you to you how the matrix format would look. Here it is, matrix. It's just like looking like a more like a cross tab report or a pivot table report. Here the tabular. We will go for the matrix report some other time, not this time, next. Now here it is. We can group the report, we can use it some page fields to display it on the page, but in this case I am going to use the two things to group the report. First is going to be a city. As you can see, I can say group it by city. Okay, then I can group it by the type also. I am going to use the type also to group it. First I want this to be put every authors by the city, and then I am going to click the details. I can have selected the control and selected with a control click, and then I would have selected the details, but no problems. Next, Now this is stepped, this is blocked. Blocked allows you to compress more data into the one report. I'm going to use a step. This includes subtotals, drill downs. These are not going to be used in this report. Subtotals are for numeric reports. Drill downs again very similar to that time I work report. If you want to drill down into the sum of the things, it is used. It's a beautiful report if you are using a drill down, but not in this one. Next. Now this is a table style. You can have a state, forest, corporate, bold, oceanic, generic. I am going to use the oceanic this time. Ocean, and I am going to move to the next one. Okay, this is the report server. It's showing you the report server. You can type out the report server, whatever your name you want. If you had a different location apart from the local report server, and I'm going to leave this deployment folder as it is, and I'm going to move to the next. Now it will give me the report summary, and it will show me the report name. I'm going to change the report name here, and this is the report summary, what it has done with what the type of report is going to create, and I am going to change it to the RPT author titles, and I am going to click the finish button, and then we are already into the report. I could have selected the checkbox for the preview report. We could have gone into the preview report, but we did not go into the preview report for a simple reason that ultimately we are going to get into that thing and we are going to preview the report. Now let's hope so that it is into the report, and once it gets into the report we will save it, and then we will modify the report to whatever specification we want and how presentable we want it to look. Hold on, let's create the report. Okay, there it is. You can see the report has been created behind, and it will show up. Once it shows up, you will save the report first, and then we will move on to the editing part of it. Okay, there we are, and I am going to click to the save the report. In this case, I have saved the report, and as you can see, that it has been grouped by two different types down here. Okay, and you can see that the report is there. It is showing you that it is being grouped by city, and under the city is grouped by the types. That is the way the group it has been grouped report. Now let's look at the preview part of it before we actually modify anything else. Now I am going to preview the report. We are in the preview mode. It will actually generate a report, and we are in the process of generating the report. Once we see how the report is being displayed, then we can think of what is wrong with the report, how do we want it to get presented, what do we need to modify, and that should be sufficient. There it is. It says build up complete, 0 error, 0 warning, and we are nearly getting the report ready, and there it is. Again, I have to actually hide this pane, and we are going to look into the details of this report. Here we are. As you can see that this report has been created. It is so far so good looking, but the thing is that I have to look into the other details also, like that it is created under city and then it is created under the type. You can see that here is the city and there it is a type, and again the city, again the type. This is business, this is popular computer. This is a beautiful report. You don't have to do much work with it. It has done all the work for you, and we are nearly done with the report, as you can see. But before we go down, we will modify this report to a certain extent. Okay, we will go back to the design part of it. Okay, just click on this title, and we will remove this title from this thing, and we will put a new title here. Just click here and use a back arrow to remove this thing. And then we can type a new title here. It's going to take some time. Okay, I will just pause it and actually put the titles here, and I will come back to you. It was just wasting time. As you can see, now that I have changed the title of the report, now we can look into the more details into what to do with the report title. As you are looking at the title, we are going to go and format it. Go to the format, and I am going to select the align center from this thing, and it should align the report title to the center. Go to the format and align it to the center. Just haven't selected yet the fully. It's not giving it's not actually enabling that thing. Okay, format, align, justify. Okay, this is going to be justify center. This is gone to the left. Format, justify center. Here we are. Now we can change the column name as well. Once we select it, we can actually use the back arrow to remove the city, whatever the name, and we can retype the name whatever we want, and we can actually go and take a good preview later. Now I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to pause it, and actually I'm going to change everything, and I'm going to come back to you. Okay, there we are. As we can see that I have already changed all these things, and I'm going to save it, and then I am going to preview this report. I can use the Control S, or I can click it here. Either way it is okay. Save the report, going for the preview. Before going to preview, I can actually change this title and make this column a little bit bigger if I drag it to the this thing a little bit to the right, and if you can see If I drag a little bit to the right, it will the column, this would get extended and we would have a larger column than this thing, and we can actually drag this thing to the right. It is bringing the title outside. That's what one thing we don't want. I will just use the Control Z and I am going to drag this thing. Just drag this thing now to a bigger one, and you can still drag this thing a little bit more one if you want. And there we have, we can do this thing with the same thing to this thing. Once we have this column dragged, we have got a bigger column. We can now go and preview this report, and we are nearly actually done with this report as far as the report is concerned. This is a very beautiful report. As you can see, we have used multiple tables. So far so good. We have used this thing. Now we could have made it italics, bold and other things that we will be covering in a later next report, but it doesn't matter. Then we can actually use the export option from here. As you can see, we can export it to any of the Excel, Word, whatever we want to. Then there is a printer option, and then there is a print layout option where you can see the report before getting print out. It will show you the print layout. And we have seen how to create a report using the report wizard with the multiple tables. And we are going to stop here for this report. Now that you have understood how to create a report using report wizard using the multiple tables, in the next report we may be looking into the how to import the reports from the Access and how to create a report directly without using a report wizard. In this situation we will just stop here. I think so it was okay. This report is getting still generated, and let's pause it for some time so that the report gets generated, and then we will come back. So this is taking some time. Here it is. As you can see, the report did get generated. We can look into the details of the report. If it is not fitting in the one page, whole page, we can change the layout of how, whether we want it by the portrait, or we can look into the other things like the portrait or landscape. But this case, if it is not looking good, we will zoom in and we will check it out what is wrong with it, and we can reduce the field size, or we can change the way the report is going to get printed. Okay, right click on the report. As you can see, once you right click, go to the page setup. Of course you can zoom in from here also, and zoom it from the menu up menu also, no problems at all. Here it is. When you select the page setup, it will allow you to choose the portrait and between a landscape. Choose a landscape and it will give you a report with a different presentation. Hold on for a second and it will show up the screen for the landscape and the portrait. And we would be done with these things. And there we are. As you can see, I am going to select the landscape. Once I select the landscape, and we are going to click OK, and then we are going to move to the screen. That's it. This is the end of the report. As you can see it, you can save the report and then you can later print it out or do whatever. You can export the report to the PDF. You can export it to the Excel for more computing if you want, depending upon what the situation you are. You can print it to the Word and do more formatting of the report. I'll just end it here. Thank you for listening to me. Have a nice day.